What up, everybody? Welcome back. So, just like I said, man, just like I said, they were going to demand, Democrats were going to demand that they should be put above the law. You could have just, if we could have put this on a betting website, will they eventually demand that Democrats be put above the law and that D is not for Democrat, it's for different? When they break the law, it's different. Yes, called it. Now, your favorite MSDNC broadcaster, Richard Maddow, they're going to straight up say it. They're going to straight up say, we demand that we are above the law. Now, I wore my official judgeship robe just for this video.
Individual case of this judge, there's also potentially the intimidation factor towards all judges, right? That this has an effect on trying to scare and intimidate judges into not ruling against Trump or otherwise acceding to Trump and the Trump administration's demands. When you say we must do whatever we can to defend the independent judiciary in America, what do you think that we should do? We've seen people instantly and spontaneously react by going to the courthouses, by going to the streets to protest. Do you think that matters, and what else do you think could?
Well, absolutely. I mean, everybody who aspires and attains to public office in America, regardless of which branch they're in, is just a servant of the people, and the people need to manifest their outrage about these assaults on judicial independence. The first branch of government, the legislative branch, Congress, must do the same thing. We must reject all of these attacks on individual judges.
We must demand that we are above the law.
I was quite shocked. I couldn't believe what I had seen. I was horrified by the actions of the FBI coming onto our county courthouse grounds, literally going after a sitting judge who's not a flight risk, and literally bringing so many officers to arrest her.
Because Democrats are different. Okay, when citizens get arrested that are normal people, they don't deserve special privileges. But because she's a Democrat activist judge, she does.
Look at this as political showmanship, and there's absolutely no reason for the FBI to have carried out their actions the way that they did today.
The argument that the folks in the Trump administration...
By the way, these two, Richard Maddow and her clone, this weirdo guy that like tries to model his whole look after looking like her, they just got sued and lost a $30 million defamation lawsuit for the uterus doctor. Remember the uterus doctor? Oh yeah, party time. A uterus doctor that was stealing women's uteruses during Trump's first term. Remember that? Yeah, you guys probably don't. Yeah, they got sued. They lost a $30 million defamation suit. I think the amount is undisclosed, but I think what he was going for was $30 million. But yeah, they settled. They lost. MSDNC lost.
Is, hey, no one's above the law, including judges. This is an impartial and fair application of the law.
Well, I absolutely agree that no one is above the law.
Oh.
But that also means that no one is beneath its protections as well. And so we don't need to litigate this case out in public. We know we're going to see this happening throughout the court system. But regardless of the facts, this was put on to be a show. This is really to show intimidation of judges across the entire country.
To show people stop trying to obstruct justice. Stop trying to get in the way of arresting these violent illegal aliens.
Because we know that Republicans in Congress have not been standing up to these terrible policies. It's been our judiciary, it's been our justice system. And so now they're under attack, and it's important now than ever that we're not only protecting due process, but talking about the need to protect our democracy.
These people, I just love this dude. This is just awesome because all these same people that were screaming about Trump is not above the law, and just listen to how this woman frames this.
Judges act in ways that are inappropriate sometimes, yes, that is why
But
there
it's
are
okay.
judicial
As long as they're
disciplinary
Democrats.
panels in place for someone to make a complaint and have that board investigate whether or not some sort of disciplinary action is warranted in this case. So even if we accept everything the government alleges to be true, I do not accept them all to be true. We haven't gotten all the facts fully.
Yeah, we have. She's already been charged, dum-dum. She's already had her charges brought. What are you talking about?
That would have been the appropriate way to do it. But by sending in someone to arrest her in her courtroom is a violation of the separation of the branches. It's the executive trying to muscle the judiciary to bend to its will. It's dangerous. It's autocratic.
It's dangerous.
It's just not how things are to be done.
It's dangerous to hold judges that break the law accountable. Oh, but only if they're Democrats.
Purpose here, of course, is to intimidate the judiciary so that they do not get in the way of Donald Trump's policies,
exactly.
however lawful or constitutional
Don't break
may
the
or may
law.
not be.
Listen to how it's insane how they frame this, but if you didn't know, there was multiple producers that were exposing undercover videos of journalists exposing CNN producers that they literally will run stories all day long so that they can propagandize their audience, and they know that their audience is low IQ, and they know if they just keep feeding them their narrative of a story that their audience will buy it. And thankfully that's a good thing, because their ratings are so low and the people watching are so low that people don't trust them anymore. So they're tired of it too.
Dugan was in her right in doing what she did. She didn't obstruct justice. She obstructed fascism in this case.
Wow. Wow. So we can just call it fascism and it makes it okay to break the law as long as you're a Democrat.
Because you're saying obstructing justice would be if this had been a court order signed by a judge, which it was not. So, as
right.
you know,
Right. Even in that case,
they caught her in the act. What are you talking about? She was caught in the act breaking the law. They don't need a court order. They literally showed up. She let an illegal alien go during the middle of a trial with the victims right in the courtroom. During the trial, the victims were there to testify against him, and she broke him out of there where he would have gone to jail after that.
That makes sense. We should not have ICE agents in a protected space like a courtroom.
Why?
Then you'd want ICE agents going into an operating
room,
goofball? Or a classroom. Those have historically been protected spaces that are off limits to ICE, and with good reason.
Not anymore, dude.
Feeling safe and secure in a courthouse, either to come to their own trials or to testify against others. And this is really just an attack on the judicial system, which is historically a check and balance on unobstructed executive power. That's what we're seeing from the Trump administration.
Now, you worked with Judge Dugan, as I mentioned, for 4 years. Is her behavior, as it's reported, and Whitney was laying it out, what we know, in helping this immigrant consistent with the judge and the person that you know?
Absolutely. She's a prominent, respected member of the Milwaukee legal community.
Yeah, because she's an activist.
I should know because I am. She's been a respected judge and a lawyer for many years.
We don't respect her.
Targeting her makes no sense. And I think it really is designed to have a chilling effect on state and local officials and on anybody who would push back on the Trump regime.
So she was released on bond after her initial appearance today. You heard, her legal representative saying they're going to fight vigorously. They believe she'll be exonerated. But do you think, from knowing her, when you talk about the chilling effect of this or what the impact will be, is she willing to? How far is she willing to go? I mean, if it means serving time in jail, if it ever gets to that sort of a thing, is that something you think she'd be willing to do?
I mean, I'm not going to speculate as to whether or not she's willing to serve time in jail. It is absolutely ludicrous that these charges were brought to begin with. Somebody had just asked me this morning, what can we do to support Judge Dugan? And I said, well, obviously, there aren't going to be charges brought because she hasn't done anything wrong. And several hours later, she was in handcuffs. So this is not something that anybody anticipated. I think
she hasn't done anything wrong. Dude, oh my God, man. This is what we're up against. We're up against a justice system that believes as long as you're part of one party and you're trying to let illegal violent offenders back into the community, you are so virtuous that you should not be prosecuted. Wow.
Nobody's trying to be a hero here, but Judge
Okay.
Dugan is doing what all of us will be called to do in the days and weeks and months to come.
There you go.
Standing up for people in our community that are being targeted by the Trump regime.
And it doesn't stop there, man. Let's just keep going with this narrative these people love to gaslight you on.
Which seems to mark a different chapter in the ongoing immigration
agenda
of this administration. Right, that was the FBI arresting and charging a sitting judge in Milwaukee. Now, the FBI says that she obstructed their agents when they were trying to arrest an undocumented immigrant who was in her courthouse. It's been reported she allowed him to leave through a side door. But what does this say to you now in terms of what the administration is willing to do and how this was carried out?
Well, obviously, they're trying to send a note of intimidation.
Duh.
Not only to her, but to all judges and maybe to all
These
Americans.
are New York Times.
But I don't yet know the specific details of this case, whether she escorted the...
He doesn't even know. He doesn't even know. Why are they even asking him? Because he's a Democrat propagandist. That's why.
Jury door, or whether she's let him, so that's all murky. I don't want to comment on this specific case. But especially on the issue of immigration, there are a lot of people...
She let him out of an area that wasn't open to the public.
Appalled by what the administration is doing. And there will be times for civil disobedience. And to me, let's say she did escort this guy out the door. If federal enforcement agencies come to your courtroom and you help a guy escape, that is two things. One, it strikes me as maybe something illegal, but it also strikes me as something heroic. And
oh
in
my
times
God,
of
there
trouble,
you go. As long as you're a hero.
Sometimes called to do civil disobedience. And in my view, when people do civil disobedience,
bro, that's all we need to hear. As long as if the Democrats see you as a hero, it's okay for you to let an illegal alien, violent offender. It's okay. You do not hate these people enough. They make me physically ill every time I have to listen to these. But you know what? That's part of this is that we have to see what their side is saying, because we have to open more people up to see how much these people are lunatics. They want to release these people into your communities so they can keep offending, so that they can keep committing crimes. The Democrats are cooked. Like, if Trump is successful with all this, they're cooked for like the next 20 years. Like, people will not put up with this. Let me know what you guys think, man. This is just insane.